Hi, good afternoon or good evening, everyone, and welcome to So You Think You Can VDVR. My name is LaShun. I am the Dallas Voter Registration Manager, and I will let my co host introduce herself.
Hi guys, Happy New Year. I am Gabrielle. I am the voter registration manager in the Houston area. And LaShawn and I are so happy to be on here to be talking to you about what a VDVR is and how important it is, especially this upcoming year. It's already been a crazy year. We've already seen a lot. It's day 12. Crazy. But just before we get into it, I want to remind everybody that this is not a VDVR training. We are not certifying you. It is just, we are trying to bring awareness to what a VDVR is and how important it is for people to become one, to help, us and our state move along in this progressive movement. But I will let LaShawn take over.
Thank you so much, Gabrielle. So, we're going to start off with what is a VDVR?
Yeah. So what is it? It is a person who is certified to register others to vote. So LaShawn and I, we'll talk about renewals, but we were VDVRs. So every even year, you have to get recertified. So I literally just did mine in January. But what it is there's a state law that says that someone has to be certified to be a VDVR. So what it stands for is Volunteer Deputy Voter Registrar. That's why we use the acronym VDVR, because it's really tongue twister. But it is anyone who is 18 years old. Basically, I'm going to let LaShawn go through the qualifications, but basically it is someone who is certified by the state and by the county. So it's a county-wide. It's county-wide. It's county by county. It's not a statewide. We don't have just one VDVR and then you can register everybody in every county. We'll go into that specifics later, but really it is someone who is certified to register others to vote. So LaShawn, can you tell us, since that is kind of complicated, right? Like that little description that I just gave. I think the most important thing is, if you don't know what a VDVR is, and if you're still kind of confused, like we're here to help you. They don't make it easy on accident. The voter registration laws in this state are very, very strict. Kind of like how they were in Georgia and what we saw the movement of just getting people registered to vote, not even a partisan movement, right? Just giving people to be to take part in our democracy. It's something that is a really important movement. And so LaShawn, can you give us some qualifications of let's say someone on here wants to be a VDVR, who can be one and how can they be one?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to go off of what Gabrielle was just saying too, we call it VDVR. Sometimes you may see it written or hear people say it as VDR. I've heard DVR, but essentially, right, they're all the same thing. So just want to throw that out there. It's literally the same words, the same acronyms, same letters, just rearranged. Yeah, so as far as qualifications go, it's pretty simple and basic. So your first qualification is you have to be at least 18 years old. You also must be a United States citizen, and you can't have been determined by a final judgment of court exercising probate jurisdiction to be totally mentally incapacitated or partially mentally incapacitated without the right to vote. Along with that, you should have never been convicted of failing to deliver a voter application to a voter registrar and not have been finally convicted of a felony. Or if you were convicted of a felony, you must have fully discharged the sentence, including any term of incarceration, parole, or supervision, or completed a period of probation ordered by any court, or been pardoned or otherwise released from the resulting disability to vote. So I want to pause right there because it's very important. So it is possible if you're a felon to become a VDVR. It's just you have to make sure that everything is done, like you serve your time, parole, probation, everything like that is done. So um, that's very important information. And last but not least, not have been finally convicted of identity theft under Section 32.51 of the Penal Code, and also be a resident of the state of Texas. And I know that list seems kind of long, and it's really just really wordy, and just like Gabrielle said, they do that on purpose to try and discourage people from becoming VDVR, especially younger folks, folks of color, because they see, a lot of those words and a lot of language. Some people may not understand it and just decide, okay, well, this is something I can't do, or because I don't understand it, it's too much for us. But hopefully, by the end of our talk tonight, Gabrielle and I will have cleared up some of the confusion, so you can understand how you become one. So, speaking of how to become one, next question, I'm going to ask Gabrielle to explain to everyone, how exactly do you become a VDVR here in the state of Texas?
Yeah. So before I answer that question, I do want to say, because I know that what LaShun and I are going over is somewhat wordy. And like we've both been saying, it's done on purpose. If you have a question, please put it in the chat. We will try to answer it. Or you can DM us separately, or reach out to our social media at any time. What I do want to say is that the qualifications that LaShun just went over, they're kind of like to to register to vote, right? It's kind of the same thing. A lot of our laws mirror each other, and so if you are registered to vote and you are qualified to register to vote, I do want to challenge all of you to become a VDVR, because it's really important. And I'm gonna say how to become one. We're really doing this to try to expand the amount of people who are certified to register others to vote, because we're not like other states where it's a lot easier. There's no automatic voter registration in the state. There's no online voter registration in the state. We all need every single one of you to really help us register people, especially during this time where we're separated, but we're still connected, through the internet. And if you actually need to get registered to vote, we have a link in the chat where you can get registered to vote. And it's not online voter registration. What it does, it will send you a voter registration application by the mail, or you can print it out and send it into your county or the Secretary of State's website. And again, this is a lot of information. If you ever have a question, don't be scared to DM us, or to ask us questions in our chat. That's why we're here. Especially like LaShun and I, this is our passion. But so one of the main things of how you become a VDVR, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, it's not by a state. We don't go to a Secretary of State's training. We go to our county's training. So LaShun and I are in different counties. I'm in Harris County, and we get certified in different counties. LaShun, I'm not sure which county you are in right now. Sorry. but LaShun is in another county. And we have 254 counties in Texas. That's a lot of counties, right? So it's county by county. So if I am certified, if I want to get certified to register people in Harris County, I should take the, and I say should in quotation marks, because we're going to talk about this a little bit later. I should be registered, or I can get certified to register people to vote by like going to my county registrar's office or my county elections office. To click on the link like most of them right now, especially during the pandemic, they're doing online trainings. It's an hour. I took my recertification last Saturday. The Harris County is really good. Like other counties around the state are really good at, at doing trainings. They're simple. They're easy. They answer every single question you have. But that's how you would do it. So like if I wanted to be certified in another county, and let's say I'm already certified in Harris, all I would have to do is call up their county registrar's office, or their county's election office, I should say, call their elections office and say, hey, I want to be a voter registrar in Webb County, or I want to be a voter I'm sorry, I want to be a VDVR in Dallas County. All I would have to do is call up their elections office and show, and they'll ask you either to come by appointment or to send your credentials online. So what I would do is send my credentials from Harris County or whatever county I got the certification in. I would send it to their office or just go through the steps and they ask me to, but you should never have to repeat a training, especially if your certification is not expired. You should not have to repeat a training in a different county. There is reciprocity, and so we also in the chat we also provided like a Q&A that the Secretary of State actually put together a really good guide that answers a lot of questions. So if you again, you can ask us, but that is a really good resource. So like some counties, and so back to how do I become a VDVR? Well, it's really complicated because every county is different. Some counties have tests that you have to take. Some counties, like in Harris County, we don't have to take a test. We just go to the certification. But like I said, it's different in every county. And again, this is like, we kind of like want you to see the pattern of, well, why isn't it the same statewide? And in every county is different, right? And so, and I can't register people in different counties unless I'm certified in that county, right? And so, I definitely, it would, after you get your certification, I would definitely, in the neighboring counties, at least try to get certified there. I know it's a pain that after you have to renew in every single county, but I think it's really worth it. After each training or examination, they will issue a certificate. And that's really important because that's like, they will give you your number or your certification ID. And that's really important to have with you. And it's something, I think it's really powerful to be able to register your community, or even like when my brother moved back from college, I got to register him to vote. And it's really awesome to see someone that you registered actually go out and vote. And it's cool because you were the one who certified them. And it is a really big responsibility. And I know that it can seem a lot. And again, we're not going through the whole process of how to be certified. But it's something that I think is really important to do. And then, so LaShun, since we're talking about importance of becoming a VDVR, what are some important things to remember about being a VDVR?
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing very quickly, earlier Gabrielle mentioned a word, reciprocity, right? Reciprocity is literally just a fancy word that means paperwork. So if I am, let's just say I'm in Dallas County, I become a VDVR there, and I decide, hey, I want to go ahead and become a VDVR in Tarrant County or in Denton County, I'm just going to go to their offices and ask for reciprocity. And literally all I'm asking them for is paperwork. And just like Gabrielle said, you're not going to have to, in most cases, like you're not going to have to go through the training again. It'll be a very simple process. So basically the hardest thing is getting that first county done, which is usually your home county. And then from there, it's fairly easy. So to answer your question, other important things to remember about being a VDVR is number one, your length of appointment, right? So you may be appointed a volunteer deputy registrar at any time. However, your term expires on December 31st of the even numbered year. So for those of you who have been with us since the beginning of our Jolt Talk here, you may remember Gabrielle mentioning that we were both VDVRs, but as of December 31st, 2020, we have to renew that, right? So obviously now we're in 2021. So that goes anytime you become a VDVR. So it is usually generally better to do it towards the beginning of the year, right? That odd numbered year. That way you have it, basically for a full year before you have to renew it. But anytime in there you do it is fine. Just know that the expiration date is going to be the same no matter when you do it. Also, your appointment as a volunteer deputy registrar may be terminated by the appointing authority if it is determined that you, A, fail to properly review a voter registration application, B, intentionally destroyed or physically altered a registration application, or C, engaged in any other activity that conflicts with your responsibilities as a volunteer deputy registrar. And when you go through the volunteer registrar training, they'll go over all the do's and don'ts, but it is very, very serious. That once you do help someone register to vote, you're actually turning those forms in, that you're not collecting any data off of those forms that you shouldn't be, and so on and so forth. We're not going to get into it tonight. Like I said, that'll be covered in whatever county's VDVR training you take, but there are definitely some don'ts. And so if you're someone who's on here who's kind of worried about, oh, okay, well, these people help me register to vote, like, are they just going to be walking around with my information? Like, no, that's a big no-no. So, like, don't worry and don't fret about that. There are definitely rules and regulations in place to make sure that we're protecting people's data, I guess, for lack of a better word, and also respecting their privacy. And you can be removed. Your appointment can be ended early if you fail to follow those rules and regulations. So, next thing, always have your certification VDVR number with you, right? And so I know that we all pretty much live in a digital society these days, right? Nobody really carries around notebooks or journals anymore. Some do, but most don't. So the easiest thing to do is that whenever you go to your county elections office and you become a VDVR, honestly, just take a picture of it on your phone. And if you have something like Google Drive or OneDrive or whatever, save it, right? Back it up so that it's easily accessible for you to find. And you should always have that on you whenever you're registering people to vote. 9 times out of 10, nobody's going to come up to you and ask to see your credentials, so to speak. But right on that off chance that they do, you want to be able to provide that and let them know that, you know, you are an appointed volunteer registrar by the state of Texas in whatever county you're doing so, and that you have authorization to be doing what you're doing out there. So basically, right, it's just like having that backup on you just in case you do run into a situation where you need to prove to someone that you're allowed to be doing what you're doing. So, Gabrielle, can you tell us a little bit more about what if someone's not eligible to become a VDVR? Then what?
Yeah, just a little. I'm a very forgiveful person, so like, I did have a lanyard. In Harris County, they do give you a little certificate, like in every county. So you get like the big certificate that looks like literally like you graduated high school. But then you also get a little one too sometimes. And I did have a lanyard, and I would take that with me to register to vote. And so some of our canvassers did that too, before pre-pandemic when we were out in public registering people to vote. But also like LaShun just said, like, you know, taking a picture, you can take a picture of both. I would always just take a picture of your letter of your certification and then like the actual certification. That's like really important to have with you always. And, you know, you're always going to have your phone because we do live in this digital world. And so, or you can put it in your wallet. I always put mine in my wallet just because I know that my wallet's always with me. It's just, you know, it's no one's ever questioned me either. Like, oh, are you really deputized or something like that? But it's also really nice because, you know, we work with communities of color and where there's distrust in, you know, in our government, and rightly so. And so it's nice to have like something that is official that says, hey, like, you know, we're here, we're certified, and we're supposed to be doing this. And so that, you know, that's also another reason to get VDVR, right? You know, when they see people who look like us who are registering them to vote, you know, it's powerful, and it makes them feel safer, right? Instead of someone who doesn't look like them or who doesn't speak their language. It's, you know, that's why, you know, we at Jolt know that voter registration is super important, and especially with Black and brown people, and making sure that we're the face that, you know, that they see us, and that how does it say that they see them and us, right? And so that we are, you know, we're trying to empower our community. But so, what if you're not eligible to register to be a voter registrar? We have several volunteers and several staff members who are not eligible, but they are just as important to get people registered to vote. You can still help out. You can still be at the table, and like flag people down if you're good at that. You know, if you're good at that, and if you're outgoing and like you want to make a change, like that, you're just as important as someone who can be certified. You know, we definitely always need people who are advocates for change, and you know, I know that our members and our staff members who go with us who are not eligible, like they bring it, like they're ready to get people to the table to register to vote. And so, you know, you can always make an impact. And so don't feel like, oh well, you know, I can't get people involved, because you can, and we need you to help us. So like, yeah, you can always come with us. You can so there are long forms and short forms, and I know that you're like, what are you talking about? So there's a long form that that VDVRs use that has like a little um like a receipt at the end. That's like an official one, right? That's only VDVRs can touch that, but then there are mail-in forms that everybody can hand out. So you can help distribute those. Of course, none of us can collect them. Like no one can collect them, unless the VDVR is from that county that you're in, registering people. Like let's say LaShun, I'm registering LaShun to vote with the short form, and both LaShun and I live in Harris County, and I'm deputized in Harris County. Then I can take that from her and turn that in. If she's like in Brazoria or some other county, I can't, because I'm not VDVR'd, and we don't. But for safety reasons, you know, again, like if you're not eligible to VDVR, you can still help out. And so we still definitely want you to be part of our community. I mean, you are our community. And so, you know, we want you guys are just as important. And of course you can help get people, you can help like tell people, hey, I know you're not registered to vote. You know, I can't vote, but you can. And so it's really important for you to get registered to vote. Like our staff members who are not eligible to vote, they're key to the civic engagement process, because they are literally telling people that they need to vote. And so like we wouldn't be where we are without them. So I don't ever want someone who's not eligible to vote or not or eligible to be the VDVR think that you can't help out, or that you're not important, because you really are. And we need you to help us get people registered to vote. And then, so LaShun, I don't know if you want to talk about like your experiences with getting certified, because I know sometimes it can be intimidating. You know, when was the first time you got registered, or what was the first time that you, registered to be a VDVR? How was the training? Was it intimidating? Were there a lot of people in the room? How was it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll use my short couple of minutes here to talk a little bit about my experiences with becoming a VDVR and a couple of other things. First and foremost, I just want to put it out there that any VDR, they can't ask you if you're a citizen, right? It's not legal to ask you that. So for anyone who's watching this now, may come across it later, right? If you're out and about, right, and somebody comes up to you and says, hey, can I help you register to vote? They cannot legally, they cannot ask you, are you a citizen of the United States, or are you a citizen? That's illegal. No one should ever be asking you that. And that if someone does ask you that you're not obliged to give them an answer. I know a lot of times when it comes down to things that we're not familiar with, sometimes we can get intimidated or scared or just caught in the moment. And we may, accidentally answer, but you're not in any way, shape, or form obligated to tell somebody your citizenship status. So I just want to put that out there because it is very important. And to go along with that, likewise, anybody who is a VDVR, they cannot come up to you and ask you if you're a Democrat or Republican or independent or anything like that. Likewise, if that does come up in conversations, they cannot refuse to help you register to vote. So let's just say Gabrielle comes up to me and she's like, hey, LaShun, are you a Democrat or Republican? And I tell her whatever. And then she's like, oh, okay, never mind. I can't help you register to vote. That's illegal. They're like, nobody can do that. And I just want to put those things out there because, if you come into it and you don't know, if you're approached by someone, you may not know those things. But those are things that you very well may encounter. And so just know that no VDVR can discriminate. on your political preference, right? So if you're a Democrat and they're a Republican, they can't be like, oh, well, you're not a Republican, I'm not going to help you, and vice versa. And same thing, they cannot see your citizenship status. So to use my last minute or so, as far as my experience with becoming a VDVR, like Gabrielle said earlier, in the state of Texas, it's really interesting because there is a lot of discrimination. So, for instance, I won't say what county, but some counties do require you to make an appointment to become a VDVR. So, let's just say that I'm in my home county of Smith County, right? I've got my paperwork and I call to a neighboring county, or I'll go, let's just say not call, I go to a neighboring county. I'm like, hi, I'm LaShun. I'm here to get reciprocity, which again just means paperwork. I'm like, hey, I'm here to get reciprocity. They may tell me, oh, well, you have to make an appointment. I could be the only person in the elections office and wherever that I get this reciprocity from, and they may still tell me you have to make an appointment. And some counties will do that to you. A lot of times, the counties that do that to you will not let you make appointments on Friday. So you're really limited to Monday through Thursday during the hours that they're open, which is generally work hours or school hours, right? Like an 8 to 5 or a 9 to 5. Most county elections offices aren't open until 8, 9, 10 p.m. And they're not open on the weekends either. Before I give it back over to Gabrielle to talk about her experiences, I would say that's one of the biggest things. And so easiest thing, honestly, is to just call ahead. Aside from that, everything's pretty easy, because we're in the midst of this pandemic. Several counties are giving online trainings. The county that Gabrielle's in, Harris County, is one of the best, as well as Dallas County. And so they both offer online trainings, and they have multiple dates. You can go onto their website, click on it, sign up for whatever works for you. And then, like, say from there, let's say, again, I'm in Smith County. I do the training in Dallas County online. Once I receive my paperwork, then I can get registered or get reciprocity to become a VDVR here in my home county and whatever county I wish afterwards. So, yes, I'll pass it back over to you, Gabrielle, to talk about some of your experiences.
Yeah, LaShun also brought up a really good point. When you're doing voter registration, you cannot be partisan at all. Like, we don't even like talk about politics because honestly, like, it's not warranted. We're just trying to get people involved and in voting. And so, like, voting doesn't always have to be about one party or the other. It's just about being civically engaged. I mean, there's some, at the local level who there's some officials who run at the local level who are not allowed to be party affiliated. They just run. So like that's really important. And like one of the things that I think is so powerful about it is that you're just trying to get everybody registered to vote, right? Because that's like our main goal, is to get everybody involved in our democracy. Because even in Texas, we're still, we saw great voter turnout, but we got a lot of work to do. I mean, in our country, we saw a lot of voter turnout, but we have a lot of work to do. And so that's just something that's really important. But like, I want to talk about the first time I got certified. So I do live in Harris County. It was really cool because my mom went with me. And so we both did the VDVR class, and it was really nice to be in. This was, of course, pre-pandemic. And this was in 2018 when we went. It was just really nice because there's a bunch of people who just, we didn't know what party, or we weren't talking politics. We're just all in there to get people registered to vote, and it was really cool. And Harris County and other counties do such a good job with answering questions and making sure that you get certified, and that when you leave out of there, you feel confident and they give you your certification. All of this is the reason that we're doing this, is to try to, like, again, I'm going to keep repeating it all year. We're really, really trying to get more people to be certified, because this is how we see change, and this is how we move forward. And not only in this, not only in just big parts of Texas, but in all of Texas. So like, if you're in the Valley, or if you're in West Texas and you're watching this, like, please be VDVR'd. And I know in some of those counties it's a little bit harder. In every county it's different, but like when we have people who are helping, even if you just register 5 people, like, you literally help 5 people get registered to vote and to vote. That's like, that's such like a huge accomplishment. And like, if we all just get, everybody on this call just gets, well, let's get 5 more, and then you get a little bit of 5 more. Like the movement, it will be huge. And so like we definitely really want you guys to get registered and not to be scared. There are, we very briefly went over all of this, but we just want you guys to help us and to join us. And so some of our so I take have your friends help. Like, so now it's on Zoom, right? No one has an excuse of, oh, I can't go, or oh, I don't want to go downtown to go get certified. Like, it's literally, most of them are online. Um, and so you can also get, if you live in a county where it's not online and you don't feel safe, then you can get certified in a county that is online, and then try to get reciprocity in the county that you're in. And so, like, if you ever have a question, you can always ask. You can always DM us at Jolt, and we will help you get to where you need to go. That's another thing that's really intimidating, right? Is to call up an elections division, or like an official. Like, don't be scared to do that. Or if you don't know where to go, don't be scared to ask. Like, we're always here to help, and we want to get you certified, and we want to help, get you there. But you know ask your friends. If your friends are registered to vote, then they can be a VDVR. Like tell your friends, tell your significant other, tell your family. It's really nice to sit there and next to someone in a class, or like even virtually, right? And know that you guys are making a difference. And so we definitely want you to do that. And we definitely want you to volunteer with us. So tomorrow we're having volunteer hours. We want you to be a part of that. And it's at 6, and we talk about things like this, but also other movements. And we want you guys to be a part of that, especially going forward. And also, if you moved in the past year, or you just need to register to vote, we have the link in the chat. Don't ever, if you need help figuring out the link, then let us know. We definitely don't ever want you to be confused, or confused, or it's a lot. It really is a lot, but they make it a lot. And so we really hope that you get certified, and that when it's safe, that we can all register people to vote across Texas together. That would be amazing. I'm really I'm really hoping that soon we'll be able to do that. And so but we can start now with having conversations and getting certified, and just registering the people in our family that we're already close to, and using our link to help people to register to vote. But again, thank you guys so much. And I know that this might be a lot, but if you have questions, just let us know.
Yes, thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for joining us. And just as a reminder, we do have municipal elections coming up in May. So if you're somebody who in November didn't get to vote, realize, oh my gosh, I'm not registered, or I don't know where my voter registration card is, or I moved and just didn't get myself updated in time, you're going to have another chance to vote in May. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be an election that impacts your life more directly than the federal presidential election. So it's a perfect opportunity. Become a VDVR. You can register your friends, your family, coworkers, classmates to vote, and you can get that done. So thank y'all so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you. We're doing this 24/7, 365. Thank you.